Embarking on a journey of self-improvement often means making decisions about how we spend our time, to sacrifice areas of our life in pursuit of something better. But what if that choice pits self-improvement against a beloved interest like video games? Most quote-unquote self-improvement gurus say the same thing. Give up video games completely and it's a waste of time. But does it really need to be this extreme? In this video, I'm going to cover the debate on if you really need to give up video games in the pursuit of self-improvement. Hey everyone, my name is Yassine. I also go by the gamer tag Avano. I'm a Winthrop University student studying psychology, and I'm on a full ride for playing League of Legends. I make videos about achieving excellence in the digital era. That excellence has many forms, including self-improvement, mental health and wellness, psychology and neurobiology, and on the digital side, excellence in digital wellness learning, creation, branding, and even consumption like gaming and anime. Personally, I'm someone that's been very interested in self-improvement and high-level self-development for a couple years now, I'll say. But for most of my entire life, I've been a gamer. I've been somebody that grew up playing video games. I got my first Game Boy when I was like 6. And it's something that I really kind of put into my identity. I feel like it's almost like a part of who I am. And it's something that I don't really want to cut out. But as I learned more about the self-improvement space and also the people within it, a lot of them are saying very similar things, that you should completely cut out video games, other dopaminergic activities, which I can understand to some degree, especially for like social media and TikTok and mindless scrolling. But I believe that video games are different. Maybe not that they are different, but I definitely believe that they can be. In my bouts of extended periods of self-improvement where I've cut out video games, it has honestly made me feel less fulfilled. I know that I might not have gotten to my goals, and that extra time going towards my goals is extremely beneficial, but video games were kind of an integral part of how I live my life, and I know it is for a lot of people as well. One of the biggest problems that I see with self-improvement is the loneliness of it. It's about cutting out the bullshit, putting your head down, and just disappearing. And then when you do something like that, sure, you might get more progress towards your goals, but eventually you're probably going to burn out. We're not meant to be alone. And I know that you can be on a self-improvement journey and still have a social life, but a lot of the time it's a lot harder, at least in my experience. And something that I've always done my entire life is use gaming as a form of social interaction with some of my best friends. I know a lot of people do that as well, where they tell their friends to get on the game, bro. And cutting video games completely out of your life kind of destroys this dynamic. I'm someone that believes that the time that you spend playing games with some of your friends is definitely good quality time. I know that sometimes it can be mindless, but I'll be honest, I have always enjoyed it. It's something that if I go without for too long, then I definitely start to feel more lonely. But this is mainly for those of us that are kind of introverts that like to stay home most of the time. But even for those that go out, in my experience, when people go out, the kind of things that they do when they go out is not conducive to self-improvement, so to speak. Especially when it comes to like going out late at night, like drinking and clubbing and partying and stuff like that. Like, that's not helpful, to be honest. It's just not. Not only is it not helpful, it's also harmful to your own health. I don't speak for everyone that plays video games out there, but I will say that I've experienced this myself, and I'm sure others as well, is that there's a feeling of alienation. People who play video games that don't necessarily want to give it up. If one of the so-called prerequisites to self-development is completely getting rid of video games. And some of these people won't want to, so they're not going to start self-improvement. They're not going to do self-development because they want to keep the video games in their life. And being realistic, there are people that want both. There are people that want to grow as individuals that also don't want to get rid of video games. It's something they really enjoy. And I'm most definitely one of those people. And online, there's this weird narrative that a lot of people believe. If you want to commit to self-improvement, then video games cannot be in the equation. In my opinion though, neither of these things is something that stops the other from happening. I believe that you can do both. I do believe that sometimes one will come at the expense of the other. Say if you game too much, you're not gonna reach your goals as fast. But this notion that you cannot do both in any capacity is just something that I firmly disagree with. One of the major points that I'll say about this is mindful consumption and intentionality. As long as you're mindful about the amount of time that you spend playing video games, you can still work toward your goals just fine. If you moderate how much time you play, and you don't go overboard, and you really be intentional with your time, then I don't think it's detrimental. Something that I like to do is I'll do my work first thing in the morning or in the afternoon, and I can't play video games until I get most of my work done or I'm satisfied enough for that day to partake. And there's another really key idea that I've implemented into my life. It's something that I like to call the spectrum of play. So imagine the spectrum. On one side, it's extreme flexibility and I can do whatever I want with my time. And on the other side, my time is extremely strict and I limit the time that I spend doing leisure activities. And even though there are the two sides, there's the whole spectrum in between. And in that spectrum, there is a balance and a specific time for each specific part. And it's okay to teeter between different sides and different parts of the spectrum. Sometimes you're gonna find yourself with more free time and most of your goals are already kind of being worked towards. You can put yourself on the flexible side. You can play more video games. And sometimes the situation really calls for you to be disciplined in terms of your time. Sometimes you really don't have time to play around. And you'll be on the other side of the spectrum, but knowing that you can shift it somewhere else once the time has passed. Usually I like to keep myself more in the middle, but oftentimes, especially right now, I'm off to the strict side because there are things that I want to do and goals that I want to achieve. If you're someone that plays games and want to go on a journey of self-improvement, don't let the idea of having to give up what you love stop you from the pursuit of self-development. You can do both. It's possible, no matter what other people say. There are even benefits of gaming that I didn't talk about in this video, so if you're interested, I made another video just about that. So take the next step in your own personal growth, and no matter what, keep moving forward. See you later.